Welcome to BEASTwriter Review. I am your host Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be talking about Sunday night's matchup between the Green Bay Packers and your San Francisco 49ers. So let's get started. Sunday night matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers should be an NFC battle that comes down to the wire. Two teams fighting for the playoff seeding, as both are on par for postseason play. This game holds more weight as the winner could hold a tiebreaker in terms of getting a first round bye. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the playoff picture, there's a total of 12 teams that make the playoffs out of the 32. So you have 6 teams from the AFC, 6 teams from the NFC. The top 2 teams from each conference get a first round bye, with the remaining 4 teams in each conference having to play each other in what's called the wild card game. All right? The Packers, who are coming off a bye, had 2 weeks to prepare for the 9-1 struggling 49ers. I say struggling because they could have easily lost 2 of their last 3 games to the Arizona Cardinals, as both games were decided on the last drive. The blueprint for defeating the 49ers is set, and the Packers had 2 weeks to prepare for this primetime matchup. So how do the Packers go about beating the hottest team in the NFL? By making the 49ers offense one-dimensional, stacking the box while forcing Jimmy G to beat you with his arm. When Garoppolo throws 30-plus times in a game this year, that plays in the opposing team's favor, as Jimmy G has thrown a total of 6 interceptions. 6 interceptions, guys, in those 5 games, all right? In addition, despite the 4-1 record, 3 of those games were decided by 4 points or less. 4 points or less, all right? The Packers can easily stack the box and plugging in nose tackle Kenny Clark from UCLA up the middle, having middle linebacker Blake Martinez as the rat, to then set the edges with free agent acquisitions, outside linebacker Preston Smith as Zadarius Smith, in both run support and against the pass, as the two have combined for a total of 18.5 sacks. Let that settle. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith have a combined 18.5 sacks. Preston Smith has 10. Zadarius Smith has 8.5. For those who don't know who these players are, they were pass rushers. Preston Smith came from the Washington Redskins. Zadarius Smith came from the Baltimore Ravens. All right, 2 quality signings that are paying huge dividends for Go Paco. This doesn't bode well for right tackle Mike McGlinchey and left tackle Justin Skule. Both players are highly overrated in my opinion, and their play has been suspect at best. Credit 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan for scheming things up, covering his players' weaknesses, while playing to their strengths with outside zone runs and misdirection. But it won't work this week. The Packers defense is led by defensive coordinator Mike Pettine, a highly respected defensive coordinator who comes from the Rex Ryan tree, dating back to his days in Baltimore. That's right, Pettine comes from Baltimore. Pettine is an absolute mad scientist when it comes to stopping misdirections and running game. All right, operating out of a 3-4 base, Pettine will likely use what's called a bear front versus the Niners' misdirection running game, shutting down inside zone, what the Niners like to use, while then using his speedy, powerful outside linebackers that I just mentioned to set the edge. On those outside zone runs the 49ers so often use to disguise their tackles' deficiencies, the Packers will have an answer. Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith. To make matters worse for San Francisco, Pettine is not afraid to stay in his 4-2 nickel-based defense, despite the different personnel looks that Shanahan may throw at him. Why? Because Pettine's defense is aimed at shutting down the ground game inside while keeping speed on the edges, where his cornerbacks Jair Alexander and Kevin King can come up and run support when the running backs get flushed outside. All right, can you say one-dimensional? Looks like Jimmy G is about to rip it at least 30 times this game. I hate to say it, but the more Jimmy throws, the more opportunities for interceptions and turnovers. That's just the way it happens. And again, the stats don't lie, the game film doesn't lie. Garoppolo, in my opinion, is a one-read quarterback. Shanahan knows this and often schemes up high-low routes, pattern matching the same side of the field to expedite Garoppolo's progressions. Rarely do you see Garoppolo scan the field on the opposite side. What I mean by that is pre-snap, whatever the hot route is or the first read is, he stays on that side. He never looks on the opposite side. People are like, oh, well, Dante Pettis was wide open over there. Oh, well, Raheem Mostert was open in the flat. Oh, Tevin Coleman was open in the flat. Why don't you go there? Because he doesn't go through his progressions. He's a one-read quarterback. All right, cool. More times than not, Garoppolo folds when facing quarterback pressure. That's another one that's going to hurt them. The fundamentals go out the window. He does not look off the single high safety, but would rather stare down the receiver, throw off his back foot, and force the ball in tight coverage. How many times have you seen Garoppolo do that this year? More times than you should, right? Because, I mean, that's kind of like football 101. You're not supposed to throw off your back foot. You're supposed to live to play another down. Take the sack. Don't fumble. when Seattle came to town. I mean, this is football 101, guys. All right, cover 1 and cover 3 is where Garoppolo actually has the most problems, evident by throwing 9 of his 10 interceptions facing those cover shells. All right, so whether he's facing a cover 3 or cover 1, Garoppolo has thrown 9 interceptions out of the 10. The only one that wasn't was against the Los Angeles Rams, where Marcus Peters inside the red zone. Again, you can look at that play. Garoppolo forced that ball downfield. Didn't think that Marcus Peters was going to read Garoppolo's eyes. Again, the Packers had 2 weeks to prepare for them to put up a fight despite being minus 3-point underdogs. On the flip side, we all know what quarterback Aaron Rodgers can do, killing plays pre-snap while then exploiting weaknesses in the defensive front seven, namely the linebackers. So who they got? Right? You got Quan Alexander, in my opinion, is the best pass coverage guy as an underneath defender. He's out for the year with a torn pec. Roll in Dre Greenlaw, roll in Elijah Lee. I don't think those guys can get it done. Actually, I know they can't get it done. Not against Aaron Rodgers. It's all about matchups, guys. So look for that to continue on Sunday night as Rodgers kills plays at the line while then throwing those intermediate routes down the seams, all while taking some deep shots to wide receiver Devontae Adams. It's his homecoming. And wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling outside against cornerback Richard Sherman. That's right. Attack Richard Sherman. We all saw what happened when Kyler Murray did it. He was penalized 3 times, giving up 72 yards of field possession. He's not even the best corner on that team. It's Ahkello Witherspoon. I don't even know how he leads in Pro Bowl voting right now. It's a household name. It's not based on his play. And if you guys want to argue with me in that, I watched every game film of him. Every single play, I can tell you his coverage wins. I can tell you whether it's protecting the sticks, and he's not, how many first downs he's given up, why he's playing with a bigger cushion. And you can't say it's all his defense, because if it's 3rd and 3, you don't play behind the sticks. You're just conceding a first down. You're supposed to play a little bit tighter than that, guys. A little bit tighter. That's football 101. But that's for another story. All right? This doesn't bode well for the 49ers, as the NFL is all about matchups. That should come down to the wire. I'm not saying the Niners won't win this game. I don't have them winning this game, but it can go either way. It could be a coin toss, but right now I just don't see that happening. With the Packers having 2 weeks to prepare, with 3 weeks worth of blueprints on how to attack the 49ers on both sides of the football, I hate to say it, guys, but I'm going with my gut, just like I did with Seattle. I'm picking the Packers to win, 27-23. As you know, I always keep it 100. I don't know what else to tell you guys. If you guys like what I had to say, go ahead, subscribe to my YouTube channel in the lower right-hand corner. So keep it hot. I'll be on Hot Mic, calling the game, as always. BEASTwriter, out.